Welcome back to another episode of recapping 90 Day Fiance. It is I, your panda pal, and I'll be recapping season 10, episode 16. So you know what that means. Sit down, buckle up, and let's all go for a ride. Back to Indiana with Clayton and Ana. Last episode, Clayton celebrated his bachelor party by playing video games with his boyfriend. With his best friend. And Ana goes on to celebrate her bachelorette party by enjoying in a stripper dressed as an officer of the law, swinging his huge cock-a-doodle-doo in her face. It is a new day and Clayton is doing this weird mating dance. Oh, he's working out. Oh my God. So I guess he's trying to drop 10 kilos today. Who wants to tell him that is not how working out works? Ana pops out, is a little hesitant, but she does come clean to say that his sister bought her a stripper. Clayton is not pleased, but Ana tries to tell him that she did not know about the stripper and she didn't even enjoy it. She says that she kept telling him, go to Brandy, I don't want this.
Estuvimos en un carro de fiesta. Boté a él stripper por la ventana, ¿verdad?
No, pero no importa, aceptaste.
Ana does not like that Clayton is treating her like she's the one who lied because, again, she had no idea about the stripper. But Clayton goes on to say that he is upset because he asked one thing of her. Tensions keep rising and Ana heads to the bedroom to just start packing her bags.
This is just ridiculous, man. I can't even talk, dude.
She says that she wants to leave and she wants to go back home, like to her country. Clayton is a little confused why she's packing her bags. And to be honest, so am I. This feels, right now in this moment, this feels like a pretty intense reaction or response to him being upset. Clayton calls Brandy to confront her about the stripper. He tells her that Ana is packing her bags, and Brandy tells Clayton to basically just go give her a hug and tell her that he loves her.
I should not be apologizing or taking any responsibility for something that what I feel like I'm the victim of.
I find it funny that he is calling Brandy almost as if he's asking her for advice instead of confronting her about why she bought the stripper when she knew that he did not want that. On one hand, I don't think it's that big of a deal that Ana wanted to have a raucous night with a stripper, but on the other hand, her partner that she's going to marry is very uncomfortable with this idea, and I do think that it was not out of line for Clayton to have this request, and it is really disrespectful that she went ahead and did it anyway. Ana tells us that she thinks it is just best for her to leave because Clayton will always be like this and she does not think that she wants this for her future. Ana tells us that Clayton is a very jealous person and on the topics of things that he gets jealous about, he can get very angry about them and she just doesn't know if she wants to get married to that. Clayton goes out to Ana and gives her a hug and then he tries to reassure her. He asks her if she still loves him and she does not answer, which is not a good sign. They sit down and Clayton tells her he is more upset with the party than he is at her because he can't really tell when her participation started. Ana asks if they will continue to be having this discussion over and over again with him needing to know every single detail and arguing about it, or if the conversation can just die here. At first, I thought Ana was kind of being over dramatic, but the more I hear her talk about Clayton, I can kind of understand why she's reacting this way. This must happen so much where he just keeps going through the same questions over and over again, and yeah, that can be really annoying. This also explains why Ana before has been so short with him and cutting him off, being like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Because she just knows what the conversation is gonna be.
Quiere saber algo cuando lo tiene aquí. No es fácil dejarlo porque él continúa porque necesita no una respuesta, necesita muchas respuestas. Y ese es el gran problema.
Clayton tells us that he did not work this hard and long on this relationship, planning this wedding, for Ana to pack up her things and just leave. He tells Ana that he's kind of surprised at her reaction because they were happy and hugging just moments before. I feel like this happens a lot in hetero relationships where, if the woman is the one to end the relationship, the men are always like, it came out of left field, I don't know what I did wrong. But the women always say that it has been slowly building up for a long time, and this was just the straw that broke the camel's back. I feel like at one point Annalie did genuinely like Clayton, but then she came to America and those feelings eroded very quickly. Now I feel like she's just waiting for an opportunity where Clayton pulls a dick move so that she can leave without being pegged as the bitch. Heading over to Ashley and Manuel. Last episode, the pair had a joint bachelor and bachelorette party where Manuel cried a lot of tears because he missed his family over in Ecuador, and then he cried in a lot of joy because he got to experience a lot of strippers giving him lap dances with his fiance cheering them both on. Present day, the wedding party finds the perfect spot on the beach where the two will get married, and spirits are running really high. Back at the rental home, Manuel beckons Ashley to sit down for a FaceTime call with his mom back in Ecuador.
I asked him to set up a call with his mom because she can't be there for her son when he gets married. So I want to include Swagger as much as possible.
His mother tells them that she only asks that they continue to understand each other and love each other. And Manuel says that, of course, this is not the way that he wanted to get married with his family so far away and unable to celebrate with him. And I can tell that Ashley feels super sad and guilty because, I mean, she's in Florida getting to celebrate with her family and friends. Ashley promises his mom that he will take care of him and his family.
It feels good to be included in this conversation because Manuel in the past would have had this conversation separately.
The wedding party is gathered in the living room when Ashley receives a call from Armando, who is her wedding planner and the officiant, and Armando has some pretty bad news to break.
Looking at the climate, it looks like we're gonna have tropical storms. You have to understand when you're on the beach, you're putting your people in a really serious situation.
I had no idea, but they decided to book their wedding in the middle of hurricane season down in Florida. I probably would have done the same thing. Ashley is obviously freaking out. She says that she chose this date for a very specific reason.
I intentionally wanted to marry Manuel as close to the full moon in Pisces as I could.
Ashley says this is the plan. There is no plan B. But girl, in all seriousness, worst case scenario, let's say that the beach is not an option. You can still get married. You can just do it in the living room. It sucks, but you don't have to worry about Manuel getting deported unless he, of course, gets cold feet, which is, an entirely different problem. Ashley's sister does her best to calm her down, even though it's not working. Heading over to LA with Sophie and Rob. Last episode, Sophie said yes to the dress, and she is definitely way more excited about wearing the dress than she is about marrying Rob. She also came out as bisexual to her mother, who tries to convince Sophie to leave Rob. Rob begrudgingly picks Sophie up from her mom's hotel room to bring her back to his little box. Rob tells us that Sophie took every opportunity to tell her mom how unhappy she is with Rob's living situation, and he's upset that she did not back him up or come to his defense when Claire dug into him for his lackluster situation.
I feel like she let me down, and that's kind of like a big deal. So I'm gonna need to hear something from her that makes me feel like she gets it.
Rob asks Sophie if the whole night was just the two of them talking mad crap about him. And Sophie says, of course not. I was defending you. And then Rob says, well, that's great, but where was that energy when we were all together? Then Rob digs in and says that he was so disappointed that Sophie did not have his back because they're supposed to be a team. They're supposed to work together. And I'm like, why are you only a team when your feelings are the ones that are hurt? Like, teamwork is only a legitimate thing if it benefits you. Sophie's over here just saying sorry, sorry, sorry.
If I don't apologize, then the argument probably won't end.
She just keeps apologizing so that he can hear what he wants to hear and they can move on, and I do not blame her. I mean, you can only listen to a baby throw a tantrum for so long before you want to smack them. I'm kidding. Don't smack your babies. Oh my God. They get back to his little box and Rob asks her to sit outside so that they can continue this conversation.
You ever heard the phrase, left out to dry?
Yeah.
I felt very left out, vulnerable, with no support.
Sophie says that she's so annoyed because Rob only talks about how he feels shitty and he always then makes her feel shitty for making him feel shitty. Sophie says that she has apologized and all she wants is for Rob to apologize to her. Rob does apologize, but in a very Rob way where he's like, oh, I'm sorry that your face hurts because you made me punch you. That's literally what his apologies feel like.
I feel like the least you could say is, I'm sorry for being disrespectful to your mum. To me,
I'm sorry I yelled at your mom.
Sophie says thank you for apologizing, and then she brings up the memes that he's been posting all night, shading her. And then Rob gaslights her some more and says that those memes were not about her. So you're trying to say that you are in this exact situation with another lady and these memes were about her? Like, I know you are a cheater, but come on. We are not as dumb as you are.
There's no way for it to just not sound like I'm 19.
That is because you are acting like you are 19. Rob keeps opening his mouth and saying stuff that is pissing me off more and more. He goes on to say he wants to talk about important stuff, and Sophie just wants to talk about a social media post that got her upset. The social media post is important stuff, you dumbass! Sometimes it's really hard to explain to a dumb person why they are so dumb. My guy, is that why you really think she's upset? Do you think she's upset that you posted a meme on social media? No, she's mad because you guys are having relationship problems and you are trying to solve it like a teenager on crack. How stupid are you? Sophie obviously gets super upset because a woman can only take so much gaslighting. And she starts crying, sobbing. And she tells Rob that she's so frustrated that he can only focus and see his own perspective.
It's like, how is our relationship gonna work if we just keep arguing? The only way it's resolved is I apologize.
Rob gives a half-assed apology like he always does.
I'm sorry for hurting your feelings over
It's
some
not that
social media
hard.
posting.
Sophie doesn't stop crying, so Rob kind of turns on serious Rob mode, and he says he's sorry. He's trying so hard to be a better person, to see her point of view, to be less selfish. And I'm over here like, where? You cannot say that you are trying to get better if you have not shown any improvement. There has been not one argument where you take a beat and go, let me put my ego in check. I'm sorry, you're right. If Rob is being serious and this is the result of him trying hard, then Rob, you need to try harder. One thing I will give Sophie a round of applause for is she does tend to call Rob out. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but she does call him out on his shit eventually, and that is a very hard thing to do when you are dating someone as narcissistic and thick-headed as Rob. Rob starts talking with a little bit more genuine emotion, and he tells her, you know what, they were happy once and they can be happy again. Sophie says that she does forgive him, and then Rob says he forgives her too. And I'm like, hold up a minute. What are you forgiving her for? Can someone explain to me what Sophie had to apologize for? Anyway, he says he's sorry, which we should really celebrate because it only took forever for him to say it without rolling his eyes. Moving on, let us head to Sam and Citra. Last episode, Citra also said yes to the dress, and her entire family kept asking her if she actually wanted to marry Sam with the hope that she would say no. It's the day before the wedding, and Sam and Citra are talking about the logistics of everything. Citra is super stressed out, which is not surprising considering her entire family keeps telling her not to marry Sam. And Sam is super excited because he finally gets to bang Citra. Oh, woo! It is wedding day and everyone is preparing for the conversion ceremony. Sam gets some last-minute help with the ceremony, like how to sit for prayer, which Sam says it is very uncomfortable, and Herman says he better practice because they pray 5 times a day every day. Herman asks Citra to pull up Google Translate so that him and Sam can have a conversation alone. Herman tells him to love, cherish, and take care of Citra until the day they die and to please not waste her life. Herman says that he believes Sam will look after Citra, and he goes on to give them his blessing. Herman tells us that at first he was super disappointed in Sam, but after some time he can see that they both genuinely love each other and he is choosing to trust them. Sam and Citra and Citra's family arrive at the mosque, and Sam is really hoping his mother shows up. Sam's dad arrives and says that he knows what it's like to go to something and not have any of your family there to support you, so despite the fact that he is an atheist, he will be here for Sam. Sam is obviously disappointed that his mother chose not to come. The imam arrives and everyone heads in for the ceremony. Sam looks really anxious, which is understandable. This is a huge commitment and Sam is wholly unprepared. I just don't think he really understood the magnitude of what conversion means, at least not until this exact moment. Like the rules, lifestyles, religious practices, expectations, like all of this is weighing on him right now. Despite that, he follows through with the conversion. They immediately move forward to the wedding ceremony where Herman blesses their union as Citra promises herself to him and Sam accepts. And with that, my Panda Pals, we come to the end of this recap. Not a lot happened this episode, but again, we're only about like a day or two away from the wedding for these guys. Really interesting though, because, you know, Annalie has her bags packed and Manuel and Ashley are expecting a hurricane. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me on this ride. And as always, thanks for not letting me ride this train wreck alone. Bye.